sort of Strat world. I think that's kind of your comfort zone.
My very comfort zone.
And I must admit, I'm moving towards this is the guitar for me. I got a Strat about 2 or 3 years ago, like a full on like Fender standard Strat, as opposed to like I had ones like HSS's. But I'm moving more towards this is my natural sort of guitar, and I kind of understand where you've been for the last God knows how many years,
decades,
where you're once been that 2-tone Sunburst, but you've moved through various ones. I've moved on to this custom shop, and you've a little while ago now you picked up this is heavy relic in the original sense of it.
Yes.
This is all.
This is someone's played. Yeah. This is
custom shop. That's the real deal.
Yeah. So this is a 1958 Strat, heavily played. As you can see, this is no relic. There's nothing on here. That neck is complete. That's what a real hammered neck looks like. If you look on the back of yours, the custom shop one, it looks very nice. It's got some relic on the stock.
Because I went for relicing rather than because the heavy relic at the custom shop they take it all off, and I think
they sand from there to there.
So
and that's not what it looks like.
Wear.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. You know, because your thumb sits in certain places. You've got it's not sanded off. It's it's come off over time, and you've got natural oils in your skin that stain the wood. Mm-hmm. This is for me, this was the holy grail. This was the guitar. I'm a maple neck person. So I wanted a 50s one, and I wanted. I'm actually really quite glad it's not a tobacco sunburst, because I've got the 54 one, which is obviously the Japanese reissue. Yeah. There's something about a bit of colour on a guitar.
Do you know? I'll just digress. Like what a 2-tone 50s sunburst guitar is. It's a red Ferrari.
Yeah.
If I won the lottery, I said, "Hey, Neil, I've won the lottery. I've got myself a sports car," and I turned up in your house in a red Ferrari. It's such a safe.
I'd want to know why you haven't bought the metallic blue one.
Why don't you get something just a little bit special, and having something that's a custom colour, I guess, or a refin?
It is, yeah. I mean, the story behind this one is I've been looking for years for like a sensible priced guitar. I nearly pulled the trigger on if you remember, a black 61 Strat that had a chisel mark out of here.
It was molested beyond.
It was and it had been painted about 3 times, and it was cheaper than this one. And in the end, I didn't go for that one. And then literally, and this always happens. You look for something, then you give up, and then this thing turned up. So this has come from well-known British vintage seller and stuff like that.
Specialist dealer.
Specialist dealer, It came from Phil's Vintage Guitars. Came from him. And the story behind it is that it was bought a few years ago now. It was bought at the Dallas Guitar Show, and the rumours on it was that it was owned by a Memphis bluesman. Mm-hmm. Don't know who it is. Don't know if it was anybody worthwhile. We'll never know. Now the guitar, and again, there's no. You have to ask yourself why, but it could have been in the 60s or the 70s. The guitar was painted over the top of the original colour. So
originally it would have been a stock 2-tone.
No, it would have been. It looks like this is quite an early. You can't call that blonde or Olympic white or whatever. Now this is a 1958 with an older body. Now blonde, they would normally do see-through blonde over ash to see the stuff.
Brain,
So what happened was, the guitar was seafoam green, badly done, badly done over the top. Now you can't tell, and I won't get this on video, but you can tell from the tuners, it's got factory gold hardware.
Yeah.
Which would, if it was an ash body, it would be a Mary Kay.
Yeah.
This is all gold. These screws are all. Everything is gold.
But
gold.
so just worn off.
It's completely tarnished. If you look at the trem, there's no gold left. You lift this up, it's gold underneath. Serial number, everything on it strikes thing. So the finish wasn't great. Now the story is that these tuners are not 1958 gold. They are 1963.
Okay.
It's possible that it went back to the factory to have the refinish done to seafoam green, because obviously they were doing that in the 60s, which would make it rare. I didn't have it seafoam green, but all the stuff on it's gold, so it's got the gold stuff. Apparently the tuners, there might have been the original 50s ones might have been slipping.
Yeah.
It's got a gold truss rod as well, which was on the Mary K's. So it's got gold truss rod, gold hardware. This is all gold, but I mean you can't see it. It's all worn off. It's literally you lift all these parts out, you lift the screws up. They're all gold on the bottom half. Yeah. These are all completely tarnished. Yeah. There's gold left on the truss rod end. You can just make out some gold on there.
And so, like looking at it, it's like I said, butterscotchy blonde colour.
Yeah,
it's just been refinished white. The yellowing is just UV on the clear coat.
So what's happened is that the guy who bought it at the Dallas Guitar Show brought it back here, and because it had the seafoam green on it, and because it had the gold hardware maple neck. Mm-hmm. They couldn't tell what wood it was.
Yeah.
So, because had it been an ash body, it would have been a Mary Kay.
Yeah.
It would have been 1958 Mary Kay. But with it being older, when it went to probably the best refinisher in this country, Clive Brown, who from Richmond, who you just cannot, he's got like a 2 or 3 year waiting list to get your guitar refinished. He took the green off it, realised that underneath it wasn't tobacco sunburst, which in itself, a tobacco sunburst with gold hardware in 1958 would have been extremely rare. That would have been a custom order. He found some light colour, so he says, right, I'm going to put it back to what I think it would be, which is this. So it could be a very first attempt at an Olympic white. It could be a very first attempt at some colour over an older body, because obviously once it got to the 60s you can have any colour you want. But there's a guitar in this colour up for sale in Chicago Music Exchange, which is exactly the same over what looks like it's older. It doesn't show any of the grain. So he put it back to originals the way that he thinks it should have been.
So did he age the colour with you?
So he's I mean, some of the chips he's just left from getting the old paint off and doing it onto there and putting it back, but he's done an absolutely tremendous.
So it's
the neck hasn't been touched.
When you say that, the neck wear and the body wear look commensurate. You wouldn't think that the body.
He's the best. He's the best restorer in this. They reckon he's the best in the world for doing it. Hence why he's got an 18-year waiting list. And so it's had the parts on it. Obviously it's got 60s. Machine heads on it, which even in their own in gold are just worth fortune. It's got the gold string tree, which is the correct 58, because that one there is a 55.
This is 55 round
so
one.
They're the ones that they changed that in 56, 57 to be on that one. And again, you lift it all up. The bottom of the screws all lovely and gold. Well, some of them are rusty. The nut will have been replaced and it's been refretted, because anybody that sees that can see that they're medium jumbos.
That's very, very heavily.
Clive Brown's done nothing on the neck apart from we've had it straightened and stuff like that. I had it fret dressed after I got it, and it needed a really good one, because it wasn't I've got to be honest, it wasn't the best fret job that had ever been done. But now they've all been seated properly and they've been it's been dressed and stuff like that. Electronic wise, for all the haters out there, it had a 3-way switch in it.
And you replaced it.
And I replaced it with a 5-way switch. But the solder joints have all been touched, so what difference does it make?
You can't be precious. It makes it a better guitar. You're not routing out.
The guitar's been used. If anybody thinks that work hasn't been done on the guitar when it's got that much on it, is stuff like that. So
what we've got in terms of controls.
So it's standard. So the pickups have been rewound and repaired. The magnets and the bases and everything have been done. It was done by PhatBoy. So Mark from PhatBoy on the Isle of Wight, who makes stuff. He's done those, and they are brilliant. Very. If you play it next to a custom shop, 58, 59. They're
these are custom shop 50s pickups. So
exactly. And these they are low output. They're not hot in any way, shape or form. 5-way switch, which I've put in because I use 2 and 4 all the time.
Yeah, you got to.
And other than that, I mean, the tone is still wired the same, so the tone pot is there's no tone on the bridge.
On the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, so it's middle and neck, and the volume control. The other thing that has been kept original on it, which is the fact that it's been rewound, you'd probably think, could they not have reverse wound the middle pickup?
Right.
But he wanted to keep them original. Yeah. So I've still got hum on 2 and 4 because that's not reverse wound.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that, even down to the springs. One other thing that I've changed on them, I've changed the saddle screws because the original ones were so worn. Yeah. You couldn't get the Allen keys in them.
The little grub screws.
Yeah, little grub screws. Yeah. So I've got the originals. I've kept them all. But these are all nice and shiny that are in there, and it's obviously done on there. The neck on this is the 57 neck that everybody wants. It is just it's the most playable guitar neck I have on any guitars, and it just sounds like a Strat.
Yeah.
It's just it is just the Strat.
So what was that?
That's in 4. That's neck and middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the other one, just it's quite a thin sound. They are low output because of the magnets,
which is what a Strat sounds like.
Yeah. And it is just there. It will dirty up. It's I mean, you won't hear any noise on this because there's a TC Sentry and noise. But if I was to knock this off and put on,
we've got
this is
dirt coming.
So most people get that noise there.
Yeah.
If you plug yours in, you'll have a bit of noise on there.
Yeah.
You'll go to there. I've got the same noise.
Reverse wound,
so it goes into the phase thing. So unfortunately, I have noise in all of them. But you know what? That's the way it was made in the 50s.
Yeah.
So I'll just put the Sentry back on, and then it'll be nice and stuff. But I mean,
this so much getting on. That's a dirty channel on the front.
It'll do that. Probably not the. It's just like the.
It's a classic Strat sound.
It is, and I mean, even just a bit of dirt on the clean channel. It's just.
You can tell those are lower output buckets because it's not getting as much drive off.
It's not getting any drive at all. But you know what? I would keep, if you put that back to that one, just do it with a blues driver. Mix it up. But they are really low output. It's just
because they're vintage pickups. To play, it feels.
It's the most played in guitar you'll ever play. It just proves that they got it right in the 50s. Gibson and Fender, everything else progresses. They're still making this today. It's probably got a bleed circuit in it. It's probably got like all the modern bits that they didn't have in those days.
Yeah.
But like this, 7 1/4 radius, and it's people go on about it, but you know what? If it's set up properly, it does not choke out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that people never talk about is the fact that over time magnets demagnetise.
Yeah, because that's
so that there's no guarantee that these people with vintage guitars, even if they're not played, there's no guarantee that that those magnets aren't going to. If that demagnetises, the pickup's useless. Yeah, you can't remagnetise a pickup without ruining it.
You make it into a remagnetized pickup as opposed to.
But it would have to be rewound. You'd have to have it rewound. Therefore, nobody knows if these 60 years time will they stop working.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's an interesting point because the pickups in here are custom shop 50s. these do not sound like a 50s Strat. Because a 50s Strat sounds like a guitar that's 60 years old and the pickups are demagnetized a bit. These sound like the guitar would have sounded if you'd gone out and bought it in 50. If all it's like reliced and it looks like it's been through the mill a little bit.
You get the best of both worlds.
The electric is still a classic vintage sound, whereas yours will be softer because they are older magnets.
But now if you just plug yours in with exactly the same, if you go for a position that's in 1, unfortunately, which I probably wouldn't normally do, I'd probably have it in 2, but then you try that now.
Mine's a little bit harsher, because it's like you say, they're like new old stock pickups.
Yeah.
But the other thing I've got on this, because this is a custom shop and I could do a few tweaks to it when I spec'd it up, is I've got tone control on my bridge, so I can actually roll the tone off.
It is higher output.
They are a little bit higher output. But because this is custom shop, I could do a few bits and bobs that you don't have the luxury of doing when you're getting a pre-existing guitar. Like this is compound radius as opposed to yours, which is 7.5. So it's exactly, a bit more comfortable at the top of the neck. It's got a treble.
Oh, you have the haters there, 7.25.
No. I bend strings too much, and I wanted the 6150 fret wire, 5 positions,
to be honest,
which is standard.
But again, it's worn out. So I mean, the necks, and I've had some relic custom shop. I've had a heavy relic one, which we've done on here before, which I don't have anymore. They don't quite get it right around there. They get the vintage tin, and when you see it worn off, it's worn off, but it's not dirty worn off. If you know what I mean. It's like on there.
I mean, the reason I went for relic on this, as much as anything, was I didn't want to get something that was pristine.
Yeah.
And then
bang it.
It's like, oh no, it's my pristine guitar with one ding in it.
Yeah, you got no harm with that.
I know. I was like, I was never a huge fan of the relic thing, but I talked myself into it. And the minute I picked this up and played it, it just had that played in, comfortable feel that your vintage guitar's got. Yeah. And I don't worry too much about if it does get the odd ding or two.
The thing is, the back of that neck will be actually smoother than this one, because
the neck
this is quite pitted. But even on a heavy relic from a custom shop, they sand it off. It's lovely and smooth, because obviously I've had one. Yeah. But like here, bits of lacquer have come off in different places depending on your hand. So you've got like it's smooth there because it's off, but then there you've got a bit left over the because you don't really touch there unless you're playing up and down there. It's like nothing touches there. Depending on how you do it. If you think about it, there's a gap. Yeah. There's a gap. Your hand isn't playing.
It's not in perfect contact all the way down.
All the way down the back of the neck. But this is just. I get it. You know what I mean? It's a pre-CBS Strat, and I actually get it, because it's just, having I've got 3 other Strats and
have I owned several others on top of that.
Yeah. Oh, loads. I mean, absolutely loads. Probably we used to go through about 2 a year, but this thing is just it just has it. It just everything it says. I mean, the only other, the neck is all stuff what somebody has flashed over the top to protect the logo, which I'm quite thankful of, because the logo is in really good condition on there. But that's because obviously in the old they would put it over the top. It goes on top of the lacquer, so that's why they come off. They're probably flashed over the top of that.
Actually, no, it's got a bit. You can feel it. I think it might have a very thin clear coat on top,
just to protect it. And that's what they've done here. So you can still feel it, but it's on there. So under UV light, you can see it there.
You can see it.
But there's nothing here. No work's been done on there. I mean, when it got refretted, some people would have sanded it down and re-lacquered it and put it back. But you know what? I just want to keep it the way it is.
It's all part of the guitar's story, really, isn't it? How it got to be. Got to be the way it is.
Yeah.
But you're right though. The Strat, they got so much of it right back in '54.
They did. And the telly before that, they're still, and in Les Paul back in whatever '52, they got it right.
Yeah, because if you look at how much went wrong, so like 2015-ish with Gibson, where they're trying to change the Les Paul, and everyone just backlash. No, we want the original. All the features that's on these your vintage guitar, my vintage model guitar, are so similar to what you go if you went and bought it's not the standard, it's the player series now. I mean, they've got the 2-point trem now, which I think is a bit of an upgrade in terms of performance, but the pickup combination, the tone control, the general layout, they've never really reworked the body contour and anything like that. It just worked for
occasionally they've chamfered it down there and put like that. Oh, that one.
Because it's a custom shop, I can get that little bit of extra comfort.
Yeah, so you can get that in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like and actually my preference is the 6-screw trem over the 2-point.
The problem I have with the 2-point is it's so sensitive that if you're doing string bending, so you go from it'll knock the other string out.
Yeah, I mean,
that is so much more sensitive. It really knocks the strings out. Whereas these you can.
I've got one of my custom shop Strats got that one on, and it's never been as. And it is, and it's all the people on the John Mayer, going, why did he get the PRS with the 7 1/4 radius? And there's an interview with Paul Reed Smith himself, who basically says, you know what, there's nothing the matter with it. If it's set up right, there's nothing the matter with it. There's people who try to do it, so that matches that. Yeah. And actually, you shouldn't do that. Each one of those should be flat. Yes. So rather than having it curved like that, you have them as
each saddle is flat.
Each saddle is flat. Yeah. So the saddle is not like that.
No, because the strings slip off the edges.
Yes, and actually, and that one is. So each one of those is set up like that. Mm-hmm. Different levels to go with the actual radius of the neck, and it doesn't. And it does not choke. Yeah. I mean, that's like around here. Where people, round the 50th, whatever, were expected to choke. So I can go up the whole neck. I cannot get this guitar to choke, and it's not a high action. Yeah. It's you'll never see it, but that's not a high action. Mm-hmm. It's on the guitar. Yeah. I
mean, Strats generally aren't low action guitars. Gibsons generally tend to be more. Strings right down to the frets, but generally Strats 2.5, 2.6, 2.8 mil away from the fingerboard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also very lucky that pick guard has got no cracks in it.
You can see it bowing.
It's bowing.
It's bigger than it needs to be now.
Yeah, it hasn't quite warped on there. Yeah, and on the back plate, very lucky. I've only got one crack. In there. Although that's got some funny colouring off. Obviously, the old plastics don't really like, either dyes from clothes, because that's not scratching. That looks like it's gone through there. Mm-hmm. But on here, what I have noticed is that actually, obviously, all the rusts are. You've got a screwdriver.
No.
Because I was going to lift, like you could just see. I mean, they're completely corroded, and they've actually made a bit of rust marks on the actual
end of the plastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's scratched around there. It's weird because
you're saying plastic. That's just one ply, isn't it? That's actually that's Bakelite.
Yeah,
it's
one.
Not plastic.
It's the original ones because it's one ply. Cause it's 58. It didn't go to 3 ply until like 59, and then moving into 60. Yeah. So when they first did the rosewood slabs on here, but it's strange that I've got actually more pick marks on the top than the bottom. Yeah, and the reason being is because I'm there, and for some reason probably from finger picking, dirt from your hands goes in the marks.
And
I mean, I've probably want to call it very there. These are the only tone pots I've ever seen where it's literally lost all the wording on the top. Yeah. It won't come up on there, but they still say tone, and there's nothing left on. You can see on there. There's some colours.
There's so much dirt in the.
But look on the volume, because I'm on the volume all the time, and obviously it's 60 years old.
You've worn the grooves.
The grooves
are worn off.
Yeah, the grooves have actually warmed off on the sides. That's why that one's less dirty than that one. So you can still see a bit of colour on those. But I mean, look, it's just. But there's nothing on the top. So it says volume, tone, and tone where it's indented.
It's embossed in. Yeah,
it's just gone. Yeah. The paint with UV lights and stuff like that, and the colour of them as well. The colour of the pickups, the plastics, compared to the
because that ages differently.
It's on there.
The daylight.
Yeah, and it's. there are some good bargains to have on vintage stuff, there really are, and this cost me less than a master built Strat.
Yeah.
So, and a master built Strat, the minute you've got it, you'll get your money, you'll get some money back on it. I don't think you'll get it all back. You will in a few years if the interest rates, if the exchange rate goes up and the economy and stuff like that, everything will go up because the cost will go on. But it's not an investment grade piece, but it will appreciate rather than depreciate. On there.
But as vintage guitars go, it is going back to what we were saying at the start. Like you can pick up some good student grade guitars for £100 now.
Yeah.
It has never been a more affordable time to buy gear, but vintage stuff is starting to get silly. It's been getting silly for a while, but there's still stuff that this is affordable.
Yeah.
It's
expensive.
Well, it's still expensive, but there's no two ways about it. It's not a cheap thing to buy. But when you look at some vintage guitars and somebody wants 20,000, 30,000 for a 50s pre-CBS Strat, the fact that one's been through the wars a little bit, it's got its own story, but consequently it is more affordable.
I mean, and the thing is as well, and I don't agree with it, but I would actually make more money on this guitar stripping it down, which I would never do. But it's like body parts.
Yeah.
It's like selling a kidney on the black market, because the fact that they are pre-CBS gold machine heads, they're worth about £1,500. Just for those, for somebody who's got one and wants to put it on, the gold backplate, the gold truss rod, and the neck on its own is just, the gold hardware just commands more money on it. Let alone, the fact that it's the body, you've got a neck. I could make more than I did it by stripping it down to a part and selling it. I'm not going to.
I saw something on Refurb earlier in the year, and it was, the little rubber washer things that they use
underneath, £150 or something like that
for the pickups, instead of springs. $150. I think it was.
No, the one I've seen is an original bit of masking tape that used to hold the.
There was that one as well.
It was you know what I mean. I'm not being funny. So if you work out the maths on there, I've got 6 of those in there, and they are battered. They're going to perish eventually, and I will have to replace them. But it's a guitar that I want to use, and yes, I do use this live, and I you know what I mean. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's everything you would expect to have on it. But in those figures there, that's £900 for those 3 little grommets, and I've still got the original masking tape on the pickups and stuff. And there, the screws command ridiculous amount. Then put on top of them that they're gold. How much is a genuine? People want a couple of £100 for a 60s, with the F1 plate on the back of there. Way more for these, because I want to do one up. How much for a gold back plate? It's just
I think
just crazy.
I've taken a bit far. I got my SG refretted by Phil down at MOR in York, and I was just chatting to him, and he said he'd been working on a Strat Les Paul for somebody. It was a 63. And the guy had said, he'd replaced a volume control because the volume control didn't work. So he said to Phil, have you got 63 volume control? He said, well, yeah, funnily enough, I threw one out yesterday. Can I have it? He said, well, I threw it out because it doesn't work. No, I want it. And he wanted this non-functional piece of electronics to put in a guitar because it made it original, but it was worse because he had a volume control that didn't work. And that's fetishizing vintage guitars too much. There's still got to be things that you can play and use. It's got to be. This is not a collector's piece. This has got a great history and it's a great moment. And the fact that someone has played it to that degree, it's just amazing. It's been in every dive bar in Memphis and stuff like that. It's just brilliant. And like that. Yes, there's other people's DNA in it, and it's mine now. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to part with it. But we've done one on my my 60s telly, which was the first vintage guitar I've got. We discussed this before. I go through a volume control every year on most guitars if I'm using them a lot, because I'm like that. I'm constantly on it, and I have replaced the tone and the tone and the volume on the Telecaster on the 60s telly, and I've got originals in the case,
and they still work, but they crackle like hell.
Yeah.
They absolutely crackle like hell. And you know what though? It's just like, but hang on, if I didn't replace them and they failed, I've got a guitar that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Well, you were with me. We were discussing. I had the Telecaster in to see one of the local techs in Newcastle.
Yeah.
It needs refretting. I've worn the frets out.
Yeah.
I'm on the original frets, and I've worn them out. And I mean by worn them out, you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's fretless virtually.
Yeah.
And it's to get that done. By somebody who knows. I might take it to London to get done. I might take it to the vintage guitar restoration place. Because there's all these things that pre-CBS stuff, the frets have to come out sideways. You don't pull them from the top. They go in that way and stuff like that. And it's like, they don't work. You know what I mean? It's like, it's literally set it up for slide. That's all I could use it for at the moment, because there's no frets there. So what do you do to keep it like that, where it's just about playable and never play it again? You may as well sell it.
Yeah.
You may as well sell it or keep it as an investment.
Yeah.
We're talking about the price of guitars, and some of them are tens of, and some of them are hundreds of thousands. But it's not just guitars. There's, a Picasso or,
paintings, wine,
cars, Aston Martins. It's just like it's about. It's a vintage guitar is very much like a house.
Yeah.
It's worth what somebody will pay for it. Just because you get your house valued and somebody says it's 500,000 or a million or whatever like that, it's not worth that if it's on the market for 10 years and no one buys it. Yeah. It's just like, I've seen guitars, mint collector's edition guitars that have gone up for like 49,000, 4995, and then neither of them are sold. There was a matching pair in Olympic white and black, 60s, early 60s, something like that, and they were mint. They were time capsule ones. But you know what? A month later they were down to 29,995. Yeah. So had somebody bought that at 49, and then somebody got the other one at 29, you'd be a bit annoyed that it's cost you 20,000 more. But if you're happy with what you've purchased, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got to be happy that if you never sell it, are you happy? And I get enjoyment out of playing with it.
Because I think you have to buy these things as instruments to be played rather than something that's just going to go as an investment. The fact you can take that and use it as rehearsals and gig with it and all that sort of stuff. You're getting something out of it rather than just purely a financial investment. Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's not a financial investment, but it was like I got prices for have a master built done. Yeah, to have literally not a team built one like that, which is it's probably what you pay. It's 50% of what you would have paid for that more to have a master built. Yeah, but you can pick everything down to that because.
You go slightly off piste with.
You can do so much on a team build, but on a master you can pick your wood. They'll send you, do you want this? I want that. I want to do stuff like that. You can't. As soon as you get to like certain things, they say right, that's master build. You can't do that on team build. So you can pick your scratch plate and your pickups and select from an option. It's a bit like the difference between like going to a car and saying right, okay, I want that model, but with these options. To then saying okay, actually they're not on there. It's got to be a custom order. It's like that, it's got to be built to your spec, so it's going to cost you more. Yeah. But you know what? This came in less than that. It will be worth more than I paid for it now. With the way that the market is stupid.
Yeah, the market is weird.
But you know what? In a year's time, it could be worth less. Yeah. But I don't care because it's
guitar first and investment second.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't buy it as an investment. Yeah. I bought it because I wanted one. I love 50 Strat. I've had loads of reissues and custom shops, and I had that Black Nam Show one, which was like a quarter sawn neck, and they didn't quite. None of them quite did it, and this thing just blew me away.
That's the thing. You get a guitar, and there is something. Yeah. Any guitar thing you can pick it up and say, wow, this is really lovely, but there is that point. Sometimes it takes hours, sometimes it takes days, even longer, where you suddenly bond with it. I now get this guitar.
I mean, I did struggle when I first got it with three-way switch, and I tried to put it in a position, and it was just like, oh, come on, Yeah. But when I got it in there, it was just the sound. I mean, I'm on position 2 more than I'm on 4, but 2's my favourite position on it, and put a matchstick in the bottom to stop it going.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that long to think, I've got the original Switch, but it had already been sold, the pickup's already been out, so what difference does it make?
And it means you can use it and play it.
Exactly, yeah. And you know what, if a tone pot goes or stuff like that, put the other ones in the case and I'll get them replaced. What difference does it make? It's not... I need it to be working and I need it to be playing.
Exactly. Well, I think we're coming up on time on battery and storage on that camera, so knock it on the head there. We've seen some interesting guitars today. As always, if anybody wants to chip in the comments section, you're more than welcome. Let me know what your thoughts are on vintage guitars, positive, negative, what your experiences are. If you like the video, please click like. If you really enjoyed it, you want to see other videos that we do, there's a subscribe button down there you can click. If you've got a specific question that you want to ask, whether it's about guitar gear, music, anything like that, rather than leaving it in the comments, if you go here, fill that form in, send your question in there, I'm guaranteed to see it and get round to covering it in a future video. So that's it. Thanks for coming in, Neil. Thanks for bringing your guitars, and see you in another video next time. Bye for now.